All too often, I see people confuse complexity for depth, that having more buttons automatically makes the game better, makes it deeper. Downwell presents a fantastic argument for depth without complexity. When all of the player's actions are bound to the same button, it creates situations that present the player with interesting choices, all while being simple to physically play. For those who are unaware of Downwell, it is an action roguelike where the player must guide a person down a well. To aid in a descent, the player has a pair of gun boots that serves as the core feature of the game. You see, jump and fire are on the same button. The first press does the initial jump, while any subsequent presses fires the gun, which not only provides an offensive option, but also slows the descent a bit due to the recoil. Ammo is only refreshed when the player either lands on solid ground or an enemy. Of these, there are two types. White enemies can be killed by landing on them or shooting them, however red enemies must be shot. Finally, destroying multiple enemies before touching solid ground creates a combo chain, which can award the player with more health or ammo. The combination of these systems constantly forces the player to make interesting decisions. Should I slow my descent or save ammo? Prematurely end the combo for less rewards, or risk taking damage as I fall faster for larger ones? Use the gun to safely kill a white enemy, or aim to land on their head and save ammo for the red enemies. Usually, action games that present this type of risk versus reward decision only do so after the player has mastered the controls of the game. Devil May Cry, Street Fighter, and Bayonetta are all great examples of this kind of game design. You can button mash your way through those games, but it isn't until you really understand how the combat systems work do you begin to see the underlying mechanics that makes getting the best rankings so satisfying. However, it is practically impossible to get players to think about these high-level decisions when they have trouble with the controls. So mop and reduce the amount of controls so that players can master them faster. Downwell's controls, a sparse 4 actions across only 3 buttons, can be mastered at under 10 minutes. This gets players to the real meat of the game much sooner than a majority of games would. Moppin's genius is that he actually approached the problem from the opposite side. Usually developers will try to make the high-level systems more palatable by loading the game with tutorials, or, what I've seen more of recently, completely removing the decision-making and creating totally linear games. Not that that is a bad thing. Instead of trying to force the player to use the high-level systems, Moppin reduced the hurdle of input mastery, which allows more players to naturally see these systems. And any developer will tell you that players are more excited about discovering a strategy than being told about one. For a lot of gamers, Downwell just might be that first time where they started to understand the game, where they felt competent playing it because they knew exactly what they wanted to do, when to do it, and how to do it. They reached that high level of play where they had never done so before, and it was all because of a single decision to limit the number of inputs. And this is the key to Downwell's success. Simplicity in input, complexity in design.